Bumble, bumble, bumble. Hi, I'm Office Richie. What's happening, Office Farley?
Hi, Office Richie. I have a very important piece of paper here, it's a memo because we're in an office here at That Guy's a Maniac Towers where we brainstorm what.
Can you crinkle that paper to convince me that you have a piece of paper?
Oh, it's more of a notepad actually. Listen.
Oh yeah, that sounds very notepad-y. Okay.
Yeah. It's a nice notepad, but the cardboard backs come off it, so a bit floppy.
Oh, okay, that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
If only you had some way of strengthening it, or
This is not what I was going for. On this
really?
on this memo, it says something. I'm going to read it to you. It's addressed to you. It says, "Dear Office Richie, my dad is harder than your dad."
Well, your dad takes more Viagra than my dad. Also, my dad's dead.
Well, it's an unsigned memo, so maybe you should write a counter memo to say my dad's really hard.
Yeah.
He's now part of the earth.
Yeah, exactly. He has gone through the whole cycle. Yeah. God.
Oh, we should have just stuck with the back of the notepad thing.
Yeah, that was really good. Like, we could even have said hard-backed notepad. Oh, hard? We could talk about hard games. Or maybe you've been playing some hard games in some fashion.
Yeah. The notepad is branded and it says www.thatguys.co.uk, which is the name of the website, and also has like the little socials.
Does it have the little stickers like the sticker that you were making in the other episode?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand with our finances how we keep buying bespoke stationery and stickers and things like that, but apparently we do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all those people that want to sort of sponsor our episodes that just give us all these freebies, you know?
Yeah.
You know, like
give us something a bit more useful than a broken notepad with our branding on it.
I mean, a floppy notepad. Yeah.
Yeah, what are we doing? End of this bit. End of office bit.
End of office bit. End of office bit. Although I feel like I definitely broke character very, very soon into the office bit.
I think your superior acting skills covered it.
Really?
Yeah, okay. I don't think anyone would notice the bit where you
did I carry us both in this again?
I was just so blown away by our improv skills that actually took us where we want to go, but not where I thought we were going to go.
Yeah, we just sort of pulled us off track. Anyway, yes, we are doing What Are You Playing? Another mini section of our podcast that's been on since season 1, where we talk about some of the games that we've been playing. This week I am definitely talking about games that I was playing just before Arceus hit. I have not been playing anything except Arceus and WoW. So these are games that I was playing pre Arceus, and I'm going to try and remember how far and how well.
You don't have to tell the readers that. You could have just said.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of dating the episode.
Yeah. I mean, I do appreciate your journalistic integrity there.
Yeah, I mean, thank you.
Hands up.
Yeah,
Hands up.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like, there's not many people in this world look at my journalistic integrity and appreciate it. So I do appreciate that appreciation from the bottom of my heart.
Good. Well, that's the best place for that appreciation to be.
Yep. Anyway, right.
Yeah.
So, in usual What Are You Playing style.
Oh, this is a podcast about video games, by the way. And I'm Kunzi11, aka Farley. And you're Richie.
I'm Richie.
We haven't introduced ourselves for about 20 episodes now.
Yeah, but I suppose we shouldn't assume anything, should we? Like, we possibly even introduce ourselves as Office Richie and Office Farley, or Stakeholder Farley, and yeah, God, nobody will ever be able to work out who's who. Season 3 will be much better. We're not doing any of that shit. Right. Yeah. So, what are you playing? What are you playing, Farley?
Thank you. I am playing a lot of Pokemon at the moment. You can actually follow my progress. I think I mentioned it 2 episodes ago. But with the eShop stuff, I've started this mission called Operation Last Plus Home, trying to extract all the unique and legendary Pokemon from games, going right back to the GBA. So rather than talk about it here, you can visit the website www.thatguys.co.uk, where I'm keeping a diary of my progress. At the moment, they're weekly. They will definitely stop being weekly as soon as I hit because there's loads to do in that game.
Yeah, and these are very, very insightful essays on how hard it is to get a Pokemon from and through the generations, and God, the level of detail that Farley goes into with regards to like what NPCs have what Pokemon is absolutely nuts. I strongly advise nobody follows in his footsteps.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it so you don't have to.
Yeah.
But so far, I've kind of had it easy. But at the same time as us doing this, so it was frustrating because you were playing Arceus Legends, everyone was playing Arceus Legends, and I was slopping around a 18-year-old GBA game. But we did get a update.
So glad you finished that sentence.
We did get an update for Arceus Legends, which is called Daybreak and introduces some interesting things, but it also introduces the hard shit. So Pokemon games, although they're known as being child-friendly and child-oriented, almost all of them have this mad mental hard stuff, which, I'll be honest, in the spirit of journalistic integrity, I've never done, I don't think. So it's stuff like, doing the Battle Tower challenges, beating all of the Battle Frontier, that stuff which gives you a gold trainer card and whatnot. And so just at the point you and I were kind of playing together via WhatsApp messages.
Yeah.
And I was kind of convinced that, do you know what? I think I've hit the end of Arceus Legends. What a nice experience. I can go back for things like shiny hunting, but essentially I've seen all there is to see and I've caught them all and finished the story. Isn't that lovely? And then the bastards dropped this update on us introducing the hard shit. I don't know if you've played around with either of these.
So yeah. I'm just going to put a quick pause in this and please find something to bite down on very quickly, Farley. I had zero idea that this Daybreak expansion, new content existed whatsoever. I am literally looking at it like, oh, okay. I didn't realise the massive mass outbreaks were not originally part of the original game. So yeah, I was playing it fully unaware that there is extra stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
There is.
Right. Cool.
And I'm glad. I mean, this update's great. It's good that we're getting an update. It didn't cost anything. But I am glad that I put a lot of time in before this update dropped, because it tweaks loads of little things in addition to adding these 2 things I'm going to talk about.
Such as?
The... Oh my god, what's it called? The merchant guy now gives you 3 things a day instead of 1.
Yeah. Okay, I thought that was just because you reached a certain level in the game. Okay, cool.
I think they added some fast travel spots in Jubilife, which weren't there before.
Right now, the fast travel was always there.
They added slippers. Have you got those?
No. Slippers?
So weird. Yeah, the only piece of clothing they added was some slippers.
That's mental.
Yeah, it is mental. Then they added the mass outbreak stuff,
yeah,
including. Have you finished that storyline?
But I have the mass. I haven't finished that storyline. No, because it's really fucking hard.
Okay, well, when you finish the storyline, we need to talk about it because it's very strange. They kind of set it up as this mystery which you're investigating. And yeah,
so
it's
far,
interesting.
yeah, it's like so far I've found out that it's like, oh yeah, it's like a festival for Pokemon, and that's what it was. And then I had to go to Crimson Mirelands and find 3 mass outbreaks, but I was so distracted by the wisp collecting that I was just like, no, I'm not interested. Go away. So basically, every time I go to the world map, I'm supposed to go to Crimson Mirelands and do the thing, but instead I'm going to other places to collect the wisps. Unfortunately, one of the places that I still have to collect wisps is Crimson Mirelands, so I'll probably just have to do the mass outbreak thing. But it's really, really hard. It's just like, oh, I found an outbreak. Oh, it's just Bidooфs. Oh shit, they're all level 60 Bidooфs. Okay, cool. Oh, now they're all Bibarels, and they're really fucking me over. And yeah, it's like, it doesn't matter if you've got 100 jet balls or whatever. You're gonna have to fight them at some point. And I remember I did something stupid. I think it was up in the top of the map, and I'd gone to one of the camps, went round the corner, and there was an Onyx outbreak, and it was just literally, I got like 4 Steelixes, and I was like, I'm in a battle with 4 Steelixes, and I was like, I got to run away, and I tried to run away. I think I got distracted, and I just saw myself dead as like these big red-eyed, horrible Steelixes were just like attacking me. So yeah, it's a horrific thing that they added in.
Yeah, I used to pride myself in the fact that I had no briefcases out and about in the world, and now there are lots.
Yeah. Yes.
Lots of briefcases, so please pick them up.
Really? No briefcase? I lost 2 in quick succession because I'm an idiot. And oh god, have you never accidentally like turned off bravery or pressed the wrong button and just fallen from a great height? Oh
yeah.
Go Radiohead in this one. From a great height.
Yeah, very kind of comedically slow motion, like climb to the top of a cliff, try and change out your Pokemon, but you're not quite at the top of the cliff.
As a weird deer.
You start to slide down, then change again. Yeah. Anyway, well, if you continue that storyline, it sort of has an end, which is quite interesting, which we should discuss. But it also adds, I don't know if I should tell you now, it feels like I'm spoiling, but it also adds 2 battle-y things. You heard of those?
I know you can fight people. Again, this was like, I went up to the battleground thing. I fought the gate guy, and then I'm now allowed to fight like Ingo and people like that. But that's about it. That's all I did, and I was like, I'm not fighting anyone. Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, so
I've got wisps to find.
They had a thing a bit like the master challenges in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee.
Okay, that's where it's themed around a Pokemon or something like that?
Yeah. So
okay.
you can do a battle with one Pokemon, and if you beat that challenge, some of which quite high, you have to be quite high level and probably EV'd.
If you get a ribbon, I'm out. What do you get?
No, you get a mark on your Pokedex for that Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
So if you do it with all 242, I don't know if anything happens actually. Not like that.
I really hope
and then
not. That would be so horrible.
I know. The other thing they added is you can now sleep in your house.
Oh, okay.
But that unlocks like a secret battle tower thing called Eternal Reverie.
Right. Okay.
Which is really, really tough. You basically continuously battle with one team, and each battle that you do, you win, you can then choose the next one. And it kind of vague. So it will say a grass Pokemon or a tropical something or a strange shaped Pokemon. So it kind of gives you a hint to what it is, but you might not necessarily know what it is. And then if you beat those, you get a certain number of points, and then you can use the points to like top up your PP or heal your Pokemon or change your lead Pokemon. And you have to do 50 of those in a row, and it starts to get very hard very quickly. They're really high level. They get to like level 100 from a certain point onwards, and you're facing Dialga, Palkia, etc. Anyway, if you do 50 of those in a row without dying, without losing, you get a thing on your Pokedex. Another thing.
Wow, great.
Yeah, so it's pretty much bragging rights.
Yeah.
But and I've tried Battle Towers here. It's probably one of the hardest ones.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. Like, I mean, they simplified some of the mechanics, but you keep those mechanics still in your head. Things like Sword Stance now does all attack, including special attack, and things like that. It's just like, yeah, it's changed things for me, and I still struggle with battles. And like, I think what I quite liked was it doesn't matter what I take into the wild. As long as I have my Garchomp with False Swipe on it, everything else is just a bit of fun to take into the wild. But now, with the mass outbreaks, it's like, right, okay, I'm fighting normal Pokemon, I need to have a high-level fighting Pokemon, which I don't have because I used all my grits on I don't know, Heatran or something like that. No, that's not even a joke, I did. I was like, oh, you know what I've never used? I've never used this legendary before, ever. I'm going to spend all my points on it. Shit moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's the nice thing about essentially they've done away with EV training, right? So you can use these legendary Pokemon without worrying, like, oh, I don't want to mess up the EVs.
Yeah.
I drank. You just, so it's been fun. Running around with a team full of legendaries.
Although they do have natures, do you know about that?
Yeah. They're also mints as well.
Oh, right, okay, so you can change the natures.
You can change the natures, yeah.
Good. I wondered why they had mints in the farm. I really... That's one thing that bugs me. Is like, I feel that, yes, okay, you increase your farms, and now you have access to new things. Like, you can get berries and mints and things like that. I want my apricorns for my balls. I want my apricorns. When I have 4 fields, I want 4 times as many. Not the same amount. You've made 4 fields, okay? And why do you still give me the same amount of apricorns for my balls? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I do know what you mean. Yeah.
Bugs me.
It increases your stock rather than the yield on your fields.
Yeah, it should definitely increase the yield rather than the different things you can grow. That bugs me. Again, I just thought, oh, I've leveled up, so I'm now got access to berries or whatever, Like, right. Okay, cool. Is there anything more you want to say about Arceus?
No, just that. I thought I was done. I'm probably not going to do them. They are too hard for me, and like I said, there's a handful which I've done in previous games. But I was wondering when it was coming, and here it is. Here's the hard stuff, the secret hard stuff for the proper mental people who had completely done with the game within 4 days. And something else to get their teeth stuck into.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not even convinced I was going to, like, because you went through the Pokédex and actually did all of the tasks for all of the Pokemon. Because you can do...
and I'm so glad that I did.
Why?
I'm so glad that for the shiny charm.
Oh, okay, right. Quick pause. I don't get the shiny charm just for completing the Pokédex. I have to complete all the entries.
No, you have to get them all to level 10.
Right.
So not perfect, just level 10. I think you get another... basically, if you get the Pokédex entry, I think that gives you a boost shiny chances for that Pokemon. If you get level 10 on all of them, you get given the shiny charm, which increases your shiny rate chances. Then if you perfect a Pokemon's entry, it increases the chances for a shiny again. And if you perfect all of them like a proper nutter, I'm sure it might increase it again. So yeah, so I was doing it as I was going because
okay.
There are annoying things like the baby Pokemon, which you can only, their only research is catch them and give them food.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, there's a Riola, stand a million miles away, throw some berries at it, watch it eat 10 berries, and then that's your research level 10 done.
Wow. I completely just like, oh, these research tasks are awful. I saw like 2 or 3 and I thought, I'm just not going to do these. Not interested in the slightest. And now looking back, I thought you got the shiny charm just for completing the Pokédex, as a normal Pokemon game would be. But no. Apparently you're going to have to go through and do every one of them at level 10. Level 10. Level 10's not hard actually, because you can do like bullshit ones, just like see it do flamethrower 10 times and you get level 10.
Yeah, and you get, some of them are like, for all the starters, for example, it will be see them do their signature move, see them do agile, see them do strong moves. So all you do is put that in your party, do one of your moves 3 times agile, 3 times strong, and that will often take you above 10.
Yeah, so the only time I actually had to do that was for the forces of nature, to get the hand-in thing. That is the only time I've physically gone and done anything research task related, and I was confused as to why I even needed to do it.
Yeah, it's the interestingly, because they don't really have a role to play in it, it's the baby Pokemon, which are the really hard ones to do, because you don't encounter them that often,
and I've straight up evolved them because I just needed the entries.
Yeah, I mean it's not too bad. The killer is unknown, so you have to get all 28 to count as research level 10. There's no intermediates.
Okay, so it's just 110, get all the unknowns, and that's for the shiny charm.
That's to get research level 10, also perfect unknown, to then get the shiny charm. Yeah.
Wow, so you need to get all the unknowns to get the shiny charm. That is, I don't think I'm going to get the shiny charm.
The unknowns are not too bad actually. You're so familiar with the areas. By the time you're finished, because you get it gives you a clue on the Pokédex as to where they are.
Okay.
And there's maybe 2 that I struggled with. If you think about them, sit and think about them for a while. You go, oh, maybe they're here. They're not here. You go, oh yeah, there's this up there, and you go and find them.
Well, there's been plenty that I've picked up as well, in along the course of the game. But I suppose it's easy because there's 28. Yeah, and you know what.
There's 28 of them. There's a clue. It tells you which ones you've got. You can access that from your Pokédex, so it's very straightforward.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
What have you been playing?
Right.
Hard game.
It's just to sort of clarify here. This theme of hard games was not it's not necessarily reflective of the games that I've been playing. But I have been playing a co-op game.
What?
I know. With my girlfriend, and it's a game called Biped. Have you heard of this game?
No, I haven't at all actually.
Biped, right. It's very similar to a game that you gave me before, Clipper Snips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there is a sort of collaborative element where you have to solve puzzles together.
In a happy, friendly way, or in an infuriating Portal 2 screaming at each other way?
The latter. It's so you control 2 robots. It seems to be in a post-apocalyptic future world where you're...
What other kind of future world is there?
Well, again, it doesn't seem sinister, but there seems to only be AI, and it seems to very much be Earth you're on. And you have to, I don't know, you have to get beacons for some reason. The storyline is paper thin. Ultimately, it's just a puzzle game. Now, Clipper Snips was in a 2D plane. This is very much in a 3D plane. The two robots that you control, the controls for them are deliberately awkward.
Hey.
So, taking your controller, you move one leg with the right stick, and you move the other leg with the left stick.
So very much like Quap and Octodad.
Yeah, I think it's along the
yeah. Okay.
It's not terrible, but there's like a rhythm to walking. So it's like, click forward left, click forward right, click forward left, and you've got to still get the point where you have to stand down, or you can press both of them together and you sort of skate along the ground, sort of hover skate along the ground in the direction you want to go. But yeah, you can fall off things and all that sort of stuff, which makes it you can get to the places you want to, but you need to walk in certain areas. And yeah, so you have to collaboratively do things. So for instance, you don't have arms, but the bottom of your feet are sort of not magnetic, but they can sort of grab onto things.
Hence biped.
Yeah. So for instance, if I was to stand still, I could stand on one leg and I could grab the thing, a carrot, let's say, and I can swing around. I can't move on the other leg. I have to stay still. So I can pass the carrot to the other player.
Okay.
And they can grab the carrot.
This is sounding brilliant and infuriating. Yeah.
This is the simplest. It gets way worse as well. And yeah, so it's just basically do that, pass the carrot, the other person walks around and then can grab the carrot, and then you can chuck it into a thing, and it does a thing, opens a gate. Move on to the next area. Great.
Yeah.
Fine. Fantastic. And each level, they've got these little sort of storyline plots you go through, and they've got little themes. They introduce gravity into one level. So it's like, here you are on a seesaw. Only the blue robot can stand on the seesaw. So you have to stand there and make it, pink. Oh yeah. Oh god, this is right. I'm going to take a little step back. You have a blue robot and you have a pink robot.
Yeah. Okay.
There are certain platforms that you can stand on.
Yes.
With one foot, the blue robot stands on it. It becomes pink. The blue robot cannot put his other foot down, otherwise it will make the whole platform disappear. So he's just left standing with a leg up in the air. The pink robot can then stand on that. At which point, when the pink robot stands on that platform, he then has to keep one foot up in the air because it's turned blue. The blue robot can then put his other foot down, which will turn it pink, and he has to lift the other foot. So you're basically very, very slowly walking across the platform, talking to the person next to you saying, I'm about to put my foot down, get ready to move. And then you do. And ultimately, it's nice and easy. You can get across a bridge, that's fine. But yes, they start to involve things like gravity. So you're on a seesaw. So you have to move quite quickly, otherwise you're going to fall off the thing if you don't, get across it in time. You then get the inevitable large spinning barrel that you have to keep blue or pink, blue or pink, based on how you're walking along it, and you have to keep it moving as well at the same speed. as each other. So yeah, these challenges get very, very infuriating. Very hard to describe on a podcast, but do check out a YouTube video of it or something like that. And yeah, so each level sort of introduces more and more things, and you start to learn, like, doing certain things makes certain things happen. So there's a level which is set sort of on a river rapids, and you're connected by a cable, and you can move around, and like ultimately we ended up playing it on a really hard mode. We were doing the skating thing, thinking, okay, yeah, this is moving the platform, but really, really slowly. So we were trying to negotiate and pull other things with the rope between us into certain areas on the rapids. It's very, very hard to explain, but yeah, as it turns out, we should have been walking, because then you can move much faster. And these little things, little discoverable moments, and how hard that game is. It has no tutorials. It's just like, here's the thing. Oh, you need to walk across this. I'm like, all right, okay. Oh, but it disappears, and so you then have to work it all out. And yeah, it's a brutal game. I don't think it's hard. It's just it's tense on a relationship. But yeah, do check that one out. I don't know how I ended up owning it. I'm gonna say it was probably a humble bundle co-op gaming thing or something like that. But I saw it under my co-op, because like Steam allows you to sort of create little libraries now. Yeah. And one of the ones I've generated is co-op games. So for some reason it puts every single beat 'em up in there, because I have 1,000,000 of them. And also all of the fighting games, because I have 1,000,000 of them. But I also, like, I see a few occasional bullet hell games and things like that turn up, and like, oh yeah, I bought these back in 2003 or whatever, you know. And yeah, just got bored one night, and yeah, been playing it pretty much on the last level now. But yeah, I think we need to, for the sake of anyone's relationship, take a break, take a breath. Yeah. Take away any breakable objects, and yeah. But yeah, Biped, do check it out.
Fun.
Yeah. So what have you been playing, Farley?
On a similar theme, actually, I think I mentioned a while ago, when the height of the pandemic had died down, there was a confluence of events which meant that me and a couple of buddies who used to hang around playing video games and board games, whatever, together, had a whole weekend. And we used to play a lot of couch co-op games, you know, from Quakes to karting games, etc. And so it's kind of this really nice opportunity to be like, okay, what have video games given us in the last 15 years when it comes to couch co-op?
Yeah.
You know, we hadn't touched at all. So we downloaded a whole bunch of games. We played Moving Out, which was hilarious.
Yeah. I've heard good things about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, the game itself is funny. So you're essentially a colourful cast of characters who has to essentially remove all people. You have to empty a property of certain kinds of furniture, and you get bonus points if you don't destroy stuff. There are little missions, so it's fun because it takes you through, and as you can imagine exactly how it progresses. It takes you to different shaped things, and you know, here's a big office, and here's something that's got a big first floor, here's something with a slide. But by far the best thing was you unlock a sort of like a puzzle mode, where you have to get like a couch. This is the first level that we played, and we were, you know, proper side clutching laughing at how ridiculous it was in a way that only couch co-op can kind of bring you. You have this really, really thin, tiny platform to carry this couch that just about can hold 2 of you. Definitely can't hold 3 of you, and all those shenanigans. So that was fun. We played 9 Parchments, which I think I mentioned before, which is a great Dabba game. And then one of the things we played late in the weekend, so we could have played it a lot longer, was Death Squared. You heard of that?
Death Squared. I've heard of it. I don't know what it is though.
So it's have you ever played like Devil Dice? Oh, what was that? Early in the PlayStation, there was this weird game with cubes. Karushi? Is that what it's called? Anyway, irrelevant. You play on like a board floating through space, and essentially you have 4 different coloured cubes which you have to get from their starting point to their home point. And in the first level, there's a switch for the red cube to stand on, and if that stands on it, it turns off a laser which allows the blue one to stand on a button.
Yeah, this sounds exactly what I was just describing, and then looking at it, it's cool.
Yeah, so it starts off like that, and then you're doing that, and you feel happy because you solve this puzzle, and everyone got home, and then it starts to, in a wonderfully video game way, throw different mechanics at you. So, for example, one will be, here's a laser that rotates when the blue cube moves. So as it moves, the laser spins, and you have to coordinate your, okay, the green and yellow cube are hidden behind this, right? Blue you moves, the laser hides that thing. And then it adds, because your cubes you can stack on top of each other, so it adds,
of course,
so somebody can operate a switch which raises a lift, which means you can then drop on top of another one, and so on through these ridiculously complex.
Do you get to sacrifice cubes?
No, I don't. Well, maybe, but we didn't get too far into it. But most of them all of them, you had to have all 4 of them home, and it would there was the knowing nods in some levels. They'd be like, oh, we predict that you're going to do this, because the cubes all start off in a certain order. But okay, we need to get green out first, and then you think you've got the solution, and then right at the end, yellow moves last, and then as yellow moves, spikes pop up on the floor, destroy everyone. Like, okay, all right, that's not the solution. So it's very, very playful in that way of here's what it looks like. Looks pretty simple, doesn't it? And then throws these traps and curveballs at you. And it gets hideously complex, but it was super fun. Lots of shouting at each other, and just one of those things where you wish you'd had a recorder just to record what people are saying.
Yeah.
When you can't see what they can see, all these hilarious things that coming out. So yeah, Death Squared. I recommend, and I bet it gets really tricky. Or like I say, we only played a little bit of it, but it's one of those games. I just look again. You're probably doing the same. Just have just pulled up some images.
Yeah,
it looks like it gets insane.
Yeah,
multi-tiered levels. There's one which has this huge cross, which looks like it rotates. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, absolutely. It looks brutal. Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's good. What are you playing? Oh, actually, we've not been doing scores, have we?
Oh shit! No, we haven't. Right.
Okay.
So,
how many legs out of 2 would you give Biped?
I think. Oh god, I'm gonna knock a couple of points. I'm gonna give it 8 out of. I'm gonna give it 8 legs out of 11 legs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it should be out of 2 legs. It's Biped, so 8 out of 2 legs.
8 out of 2 legs. Yeah. 8 out of 2 legs. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. And how many deaths would you give it out of squared?
I'd give it
square root of
square root of 9 out of cube
3 out of 4.
Yeah. Well, cube 6. 3 out of 6.
Cube is 6. Okay, 3 out of 6.
No, that's a bit harsh. Square root of 25 out of 6.
25. 5. Okay. There we go. Awesome. There we go. Can't say our podcast isn't educational. We're talking about the squares times tables.
We got all the way up to 5 times 5.
Yeah, and we knew it right off the bat. We didn't have to think about it at all.
What have you been playing?
Right, so before...
That's not the format, is it? What are you playing? That's the format.
What are you have been playing? Yeah, so before Arceus hits, I wasn't even sure if I was going to get it, even though I did have it pre-ordered, or how much time I was going to spend on it. I just thought, you know what, I do want another game to play, and a game that everybody really, really likes and bigs up for a long time. I thought I would start playing Undertale.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Is it? It's one of these situations where, because you're coming to it so late, you're kind of, it doesn't really matter, right? Because if you love it, you'll be like, well, everyone was right. And if you hate it, people could say, yeah, but, you know, playing it 10 years too late, of course it's not going to be that good.
Yeah, exactly. Just, you missed the zeitgeist or whatever. Now,
yeah.
What I would say
I am interested to hear your thoughts about it, genuinely. Okay,
so to precursor everything, I'm about 2 hours in. So I don't think I have what's the word? Really fully got the thing in any way. Or indeed, like, when I started playing it, I thought, do you know what? I am coming to this game quite late. Is there anything I should know? So I literally googled, what should I know before? And there's just like rampant pages on Reddit and IGN and everything that just says, if you haven't played it before, please do not look up any guides. You know, so it's just kind of like, alright, okay, cool. I guess I'll just go in blind then. So I started off playing it. It's quite charming in that it's using the retro graphics, and it uses it quite well. It feels very sort of Sinclair Commodore 64 days, but it blends, and it seems to, as you go through the game, sort of progress into more 8-bit, 16-bit worlds. You know, so it becomes a bit more NESy, then it suddenly becomes a bit more snazzy.
Yeah, there are a couple of games that have done that. I think, is it The Messenger that does that?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Which is quite cool because pixel remakes have been done to death. It's quite nice. Yeah. As I've said many times before, one day we'll get to like PlayStation era graphics, but for the time being, 32-bit seems to be as far as.
Oh yeah. As far as I'll go, yeah. But yeah, there is a very interesting, sinister quality to it. And when I say sinister quality, I think you know the sinister quality that I mean. It's the sort of creepypasta style thing that you get from indie games. I'm not going to explain it much more than that, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, and I think this is one of those things which made Undertale such a hit, was that it had this aspect to it. In my mind, I tend to think of it as the spiritual successor to when we were younger. And do you remember like all those Clive Sinclair games? Is it Clive Sinclair?
No.
Who do I mean?
Jeff Minter?
No, you know, like everything. Oh god, like I have no mouth and I cannot scream.
Oh right.
Clive Barker? Is it Clive Barker?
Clive Barker's Hellraiser.
Yes, I think it's him.
Yeah.
So him and people like him, where you'd be playing on the Amiga, but you'd have these games with this really fucked up storyline, or backgrounds, or they'd be set in hell, things like Nightbreed. So yeah, I tend to think of these kind of games as spiritual successor to those. But instead of being full out, because at the time the video nasty stuff, there was the gore and seeing people's heads get torn off their insides. Whereas now they're kind of more unnerving, creepy.
Yeah, unnerving. Unnerving is a very, very good word. I got a similar vibe from the game that I recommended to you, but you probably never played, Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh yeah, you kept banging on about that. Yeah,
like the way it was done was just
unofficial response for the podcast.
Oh no, I can't praise that enough. Just the way it was done, it was just like, oh my god, this is so fucked, this game. And it does, it just pulls that sort of did you ever read the SCP files? Do you know what I mean by the SCP files?
No.
Those were like the original creepypastas where people yeah. So it's like the very famous monster that if you blink it moves, or if you look away it moves. So there's like a person who's has to be standing outside the cell at every point, looking at it in some fashion to keep it imprisoned in its room, sort of thing. Those kind of weird creepypasta, and it feels like a few of these indie games are really able to sort of harness that energy. And when I was playing Undertale, I was getting that, and there's this sinister overtone of, okay, this person is being nice to you, but it seems to be, I don't have a choice. This person is like saying, oh, don't go downstairs, oh, don't go downstairs, oh, don't go downstairs. But I just want to go down the stairs, and I'm forced not to be allowed to. And it's like, oh, okay. This is really creepy. And then you sort of move and progress through the game, and there's monsters and humans, but there's that like, the monsters are just like people with skull heads and things like that. So there's definitely a charm in that sinisterness. As I said, I have only scraped the surface. I have not gone much further into the game. I've done a few puzzles, and the puzzles are quite interesting. It's like, okay, this is actually a genuine puzzle game. And at the same time, you've kind of got this plot pushing you forward, and the narrative is just like, it's almost like visual novel narrative down the bottom, but it's it's not too interrupting in the game, I don't know, like the Final Fantasy games where you're just not able to play, you just have to progress the plot, and then you can actually do some fighting and stuff like that. The other thing is with this game is you don't actually need to fight anything.
This is the thing that had people going, oh, crazy, innovative.
I don't think it's crazy or innovative. It's just annoying. Because there is like, yes, you can fight it. Yes, you can lose your HP. Or there's another thing you can do, which is highlighted in yellow for you, where you pet the dog instead. And there's a lot of nods to internet memes, pet the doggo and all that sort of stuff. So I can see why it's very much liked by that crowd as well. The youngins that like their memes and stuffs. The
youth. The youth.
The youths. Yeah. And yeah, I think I can see the attraction of it, and I think I do want to play it a little bit more when I have time. But as much as I started it and gave it a go, it hasn't grabbed me yet. I don't know.
Well, see how you feel. I don't know how long it is. I always get the impression it wasn't very long.
I mean, I've been playing it a while, and I don't think I've really scratched the surface. But I know that also there is a lot of things where there's a huge amount of replayability in it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you finish the game, you think you finished it, no you haven't, you now have to start from the start again, but things are slightly different. Which is the same kind of vibes that you got from Doki Doki Literature Club as well.
Did I?
Yeah.
How many? What's it called? What's the name of that annoying skeleton from the memes? Sans? How many Sans out of?
Yeah, it's Sans. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll give it. I'll give it 0.72 out of 1 Sans.
Great.
Yep. Okay, that's Undertale. What other hard games have you been playing?
Well, I'll tell you a game I haven't been playing.
Okay, cool.
Following on from super popular game that I don't think either of us have ever particularly played. So Elden Ring is out now.
Yes.
And
the spiritual Dark Souls successor.
Yeah, basically the latest Soulsborne or whatever you want to call it game. And that series just never gelled with me. And I can appreciate that for people into those kind of games. Well, I can appreciate two things. One is when Legends Arceus came out, and you're a huge Soulsborne Ring fan, but hate Pokemon. You're like, oh god, everyone's going on about this bloody. It's just my feed is just, memes I don't understand about Pokemon and videos from a game I couldn't care. Well, this week it's our turn, or my turn, in that everyone's super excited about Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And posting their memes and their videos. And part of me, I love looking at this stuff because it genuinely does warm the cockles of my heart to see.
The cock of your heart. Is that what you said? It warms the cock of my heart.
Oh, I said cockle. I meant to say cockles.
Okay.
To see fellow gamers just having a blast, and this game seems to be delivering more of what they like from the other ones. But it's something about it and the kind of people who are into it, and all these games are kind of obligatory things for people to stream, right? So all the virtual idols are streaming it, and all the Twitch gamers are streaming it, and blah blah blah.
I've used Zeitgeist already once in this episode, but yes, it is currently in the height of its zeitgeist, and yes, you're right. All the VTubers and all that sort of stuff are all over it.
Yeah. But there's something about a particular kind of people who really like the Soulsborne game, and I kind of want to describe them as dad games.
Yes. No.
Do you know what I mean?
They are 100% dad games because they played the original Dark Souls. Those Dark Souls games came out 10 to 15 years ago. They've now had kids, and the reason I'm saying this is I'm just going to clip back to I am part of a guild.
Yes.
That's part in most cases it is a dad guild, and I've given you this explanation before, and they're all playing Elden Ring as well. So it's very much it is what it is.
So yes, it is hugely popular, but there is a certain kind of gamer where they probably do have kids, don't have a huge amount of gaming time in their hands, but something about the From Software games gets them so hard that they do, when it's out, they do make the exception, and they are staying up till 3 a.m. in the morning playing it in a way that they just can't afford to do or don't want to with other games. That's been great. It's been great to see. I don't know. I don't think we ever discussed these games. I just can't get into that series at all.
People tried to sell it to me as this game is so hard, and I'm like, oh, I'm done. Yeah, not interested. Yeah, I was like, I own several of them on Steam, and it was like based on recommendations, moments of weakness. It's on my wish list. On my wish list.
Yeah. Don't get those lists confused.
Yeah. Burn Devil May Cry collection. They've been on my wish list.
It's just Bayonetta on your wish list.
No, like I can tell you what's on my Steam wish list. I'm
talking about your witch list.
Oh, my witch list. Oh, yeah.
She's a witch. Get it?
I get it. There must be other witches in games. Come on. Oh, dear.
There's probably loads.
There's so many. Right now, all I can think of is the Harry Potter games.
Yeah, that'll do. All you've got on your wish list is 400 Lego Harry Potter games. Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 2,
yeah.
Bayonetta 3.
My wish list. Sorry, right. Where was I? I've totally disrupted my. Like I've got Souls games, or had them on my wish list. They get reduced at Christmas to 95% of their original price, as in off, not 95% of it. And I said, you know what, I'll buy it for 89 pence or whatever. But yeah, it's just like the appeal of it, and I think I have a vague understanding of what this game is, and it is like, you're going to fight an enemy, you need to use all of the controls and dodging and parrying that you can, and even then, you're not likely to beat them.
Well, this is part of the reason why I raise it is because it's so hot at the moment. It feels like you can't really move for it. But also, in your message rants that I got about the boss battles in Arceus Legends.
Oh my god, yes. No, that's this is not a game for me. Yeah, you made a very, very good observation of something that you found on Twitter. What was it again?
There's a very good satire site called Hard Drive Mag, which, you know, imagine the Onion but for video games related stuff. And one of them was gamer just decides that mechanic's not for me.
Yes.
Which I sent to you saying this is you, because sometimes you arbitrarily like, oh, this is a really hard thing. All I need to do is engage with this fairly central mechanic, but I don't know. My brain is baked into this is how I'm going to play this game, and I'm just refusing to, you know.
Who has got time to press the Y button? You know,
who's got time to block? Right, I'm going to play this beating up game without blocking.
Yeah, and it's like I used to do that sort of shit with like beat 'em up games, and when grown ups, like, I'm not going to block. Why would you block? That's rubbish. And then eventually, when you realise, oh yeah, I need to get good, you need to block, you know, and you can cheese, you know, pressing up and kick and get through the game and all that sort of stuff without blocking, and get lucky for most fights if you know. But if you want to play in a harder difficulty, you best be blocking, son, you know. But yeah, stuff like that. No, and I get it. And there's so many things. There's so many ways in games that I relate to that, where it's just like, I want to. You know what it's kind of like? It's like maining and putting the blinkers on. Yeah. You know, it's just like, you know what? I want to play Smash Brothers, but I can't be fucked with the massive roster that they're given to me, even though I appreciate it and think it's really, really cool. I'm only going to play as Peach. So, I'm never ever going to play as generic Fire Emblem character 3, or, you know...
Or Bayonetta.
Or Bayonetta, or Cloud, or whatever. I'm just going to straight up only play as Peach and put the blinkers on. And then, you know, there's a point where you get forced into playing as the other characters, and you're like, oh, you know what? This is actually quite nice to have a variance and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. I think when I first step into a game, I am a close-minded cunt and very much have blinkers on. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it happens to us all. You get into a pattern or like a comfort zone, and sometimes that involves ignoring key mechanics, and it's really, really hard to break that. Really, really hard to break that habit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's particularly things like blocking, parrying, drifting. Oh my god, any racing game with drifting. Nah, I can do without drifting.
Yeah, no. And like, I'm trying to think of like Devil May Cry 4 was a tough one where you had to. I think Devil May Cry 4 one was it was a difficult game because in a few of the other Devil May Cry games you could get away with sort of spamming the buttons, but with Devil May Cry 4, if you wanted to be good, you did not spam it. You had to time your button presses.
Yeah.
Very much so. It was very unforgiving when you didn't. If you did rattle it, you just did the same combo. You need to do tap, tap, back and tap. And then you'll get the good combo out of Nero or whatever. And if you don't mix it up, you do get punished in that game. And I think that was one of the ones where it's like, because I played Devil May Cry 3 on the harder modes, and again that's another one of those games where if you try and rattle it, you're not going to get very far. You need to get the timing right. So it was kind of like, okay, I need to take a step back with Devil May Cry 4, because even on like normal levels they were making you and forcing you to do those combos. And I think when I went into Devil May Cry 5, I was quite happy to just get back into the groove, as it were. It's a lot more fun and satisfying when you play the game that way as well. Rather than rattling X, you feel like you can swish of the sword and you're more reacting to the connect of the swords as opposed to that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
it's more evident with V when you play as him.
One of the mechanics that I hate in video games are ones which I can see why they introduced it, which either punish you or enemies adapt if you're just doing the same three combos over and over again, right? So either you start doing less damage, or and it's been a staple for video games forever. The enemy type where you can shoot it with your guns, and then all of a sudden it become immune to gunfire, and then you have to use that. And those are just my worst nightmare in video games, because I just don't have the range or time, or in some cases, increasingly, the skills to here's my 3 go-tos, and I can string those together. Please don't ask me to do anything. Please don't make me do that thing.
You need
do
to
that
go
thing
back.
where I have to move my fingers, so that I can press the difficult combination of buttons at the top. Because I think
when you say that you don't have the skills for it, I like a lot of the time I would agree with you, but like the shit that we did, like Orchid's full on ultra combo and Killer Instinct. We did that. We learnt that. It's just, I think it's time. It's just like not wanting to think, you know what, I'm going to spend the next 2 hours perfecting the ultra combo. Because that's what it took. Rather than the 2 hours it spends looking at IGN at the same time as you're looking for a purple fucking blur. That's the difference. It's like, I don't think it's anything to do with skill. I don't think it's anything to do with reaction. I think you can still do these things. Maybe not pull it off or execute it exactly at the same time or as eloquently as you perhaps did in your youth, but I think you still got the capability to do it. And like playing like the Devil May Cry games and coming back and like, alright, okay, I get why these connects are still there. I get why like Gears of War has that cool reload functionality. Like having these things there and being able to do those things, I'm not sure what my point is. I think your you're downplaying yourself too much.
Thanks. This is a very supportive podcast today. But yeah, so going back to the From Software games, I think I dabbled with Demon's Souls when it came out, and one of the Dark Souls, but it was just it just wasn't hooked by it. It was too dark, as in light levels rather than theming, and yeah, it just didn't grab me. Oh, here's a skeleton man. Oh, he's kind of glitched himself off some stairs. Okay. Let's go back to Pokemon Sapphire on the Game Boy.
Yeah. Let's go back to moving every single one of the Pokemon that I've got from the NPCs.
Yeah.
And a really difficult scenario that I've made for myself as well.
Yeah. That's the hard. That's the real Dark Souls. Is going back through bloody games that I completely stripped out and evacuated to try and drag these poor Pokemon through.
Okay, cool.
Yes, there we go. Elden Ring. I give it.
Have you played Elden Ring?
No, but I can still review it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, fine. Yep.
Is there a thing with rings?
There's Lord of the Rings is like the one true ring, or
how many rings are they? He gave like 20 to the men, the humans, one to the
to an elf. No.
I give it the Olympic rings out of Lord of the Rings.
Okay. 5 out of 30 or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. Cool.
But also the actual point, the reason why I did raise it, which I completely forgot in our various digressions, was that unlike other big games, people get so excited, engaged about Elden Ring, and a lot of it is games critics and everybody, that all they want to do is talk about it, which is a lovely thing when it happens. We've just done almost 3 podcasts on Pokemon in a row, but in a way that not all games receive that level of attention. Right? So again, it's really lovely when it happens, and a change from the this is this week's hot game. If you're 3 days late to this game, you've missed it. Yeah, that was the bubble to talk about. It was 3 days before this game came out, which now everybody's talking about. Whereas when a From Software game drops, and sometimes other games like Pokemon, everyone is talking about it all the time, almost to the exclusion of everything else. Which is quite funny because I don't think it sells. It sells quite well in like top Steam charts and stuff. But when you look at the number of players, it's never huge. Like
I think
Mario Kart, for example.
I think
if we covered Mario Kart 8 like we covered Elden Ring, right? Just constantly for months and months and months. Hear the videos about this hidden building that people have used glitches and whatever mods to go and find. Here's 20 articles about this particularly funny character. What do they mean? It has this niche but all-encompassing fan base, which I'm here for and I tolerate, but it's just not my thing.
Yeah, no, it's like it even made my girlfriend, who's not really, she cares about video games. Like, she knows that I am collecting 107 wisps, and I really appreciate that she remembers the number. Yeah, I think that's quite cool. But there was a point.
108.
Is it 108? No, it's 107.
108.
107. Oh, because there's a secret extra one at the end.
Well, in Pokemon Diamond, it's 108.
Oh, okay.
Which I've just played. Sorry.
Okay, so 107 wisps in Arceus, and there's an extra one in the event or something like that after it.
Maybe you were the spirit all along.
Yes, something along those lines. Anyway, but yeah, yeah, she even asked, "Oh, are you gonna play this Elden Rings thing? Apparently, it's like Skyrim." And I was just like, I appreciate the sentiment, but it's totally not Skyrim. It's not
Also,
Skyrim.
why would I play another game that wasn't Skyrim when I've got Skyrim to play for the 14th time in a row?
Yeah. Bear in mind that I've only ever played Skyrim once, and I still haven't done the expansions. So I'm due. I am allowed to go back and play Skyrim in its entirety, from start to finish again.
The next time it comes out for pedometer or whatever.
Well, I mean, it had its 10-year anniversary or 15-year anniversary recently, and they brought out new content for it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Did they finally fix all those fucking glitches?
Well, yeah, I think it's fairly stable now. Like the version, if you got the Switch version, you're not going to get a ton of glitches or anything like that. But yeah, I think it was like they have endorsed community content.
Oh yeah.
So the bits that they like they've added extra horses and new races and new stories, things like that in there. So I think it was like the best of that stuff, and they sort of released that as a content pack for everyone for free, or maybe not for free. Or I think if you have the special edition, which came out, I don't know, 7 years ago, you get it for free. Yeah. Interesting segue to Skyrim.
Debatable.
Yeah. But yeah, there was a recent thing of new content. But yeah, anything more you wanted to chat about? I feel like
I don't think so.
We might need to bring this episode to an end, and in classic That Guy's a Maniac style,
yeah.
That Guy's a Maniac.
Sorry about your dad.
Oh.